to Morphine Reacts. I'm so happy that you're here. Today we're going to be delving into the horrifying lore of Lightlark. If you've heard about the book, I'm gonna tell you right now, everything you've heard is true. Every single thing you've heard is true. Mainly the part where the main character constantly gets saved by everybody but herself. It's true. It's all true. I picked up this book thinking, you know, the back sounds great. And I was like, it's giving me kind of like a Hunger Games, but not as good vibe. I would compare it more to A Summer's Day. No, I would compare it more to, have you ever read The Trials of the Sun Queen? King. Queen. I think it's Queen. It kind of reminded me of that book just a little bit, but actually that book was better. That book was better than Lightlark, and I could not even get through the second book. I tried to read the second installment in the series of the Sun Queen, and it was not good. I literally got through half of it and I said, this is so boring, and I stopped reading. So the fact that that is better than this, we're about to get into it, okay? I have notes. You think I didn't come prepared? I came prepared, okay? I have a book. I came prepared with this book that you can't even see because it's so bright. Doesn't really matter. You don't need to know. Okay, here it is. I literally have it. I bought the physical version. Yes, and I will read the back to you. For those who like don't even know what this is about, but you've heard maybe some good things about the book, I'll read the back for you. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game, where the rulers of the 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler must die. Now, you're already like, you know what? That kind of sounds good. It's nothing like that. Every trial is the most boring as... Okay, we'll get into it. We're gonna get into it, okay? Chapter 1. So, we begin on an island of wildlings. And what is a wildling? Don't worry, I'll tell you what it is. Basically, think of this island. It's an island of Lightlark. A really, really long time ago, I think about 500 years ago, something went wrong. There was like a curse, and all of these people were forced to flee, and they kind of split into different islands, I guess, different kingdoms. So the Wildling Kingdom is where our main character originates from. Now, every the back of the book says, every single kingdom has their own unique power, and their ruler especially has their own unique ability. Unfortunately for this main character, she has no ability. And it's unclear why. So the wildlings have 2 curses. A lot of these kingdoms only have 1 curse. They got double slammed, okay? The first one is that they have to eat human hearts, which we'll get into that. I don't even understand it myself. I read the book. Number 2 is that whoever they fall in love with, they have to kill. So the going theory is that her mother, our main character's mother, did not kill her husband. And that's why our character was born without powers. I said it was a theory, okay? I said it was a theory. So we meet our main character, Isla. She's just come back from somewhere. We don't know. She has what's called a star stick. I know, it's giving Star versus the Forces of Evil, just a little bit. I was like, this is such a cheesy name. Don't worry, it's gonna get even cheesier as we go along here. So she can use this star stick to travel to different realms, okay? And by different realms, I mean all the other islands that got split up. So like I said, there's different islands. So right now we're on Wild Isle. Wherever she came from, we don't get to know that right now. She appears in her room, and she has 2 guardians because like I said, she doesn't have any parents, and they don't know that she has the star stick. So she's been hiding it from them. Somehow she sticks it down the back of her dress along her spine, and they don't see it. I was like, okay, I guess. Today's the day. Today is the day. The trials are starting, and they tell her, you know, this is very dangerous. They've been preparing her entire life. Because she doesn't have powers, they've literally been like torturing her entire life so that she can withstand anything. Because they tell her that like one of the kingdom has to die, and you don't want it to be you, so you need to do what you can, and you can't let anyone know that you have powers. Like, they're very adamant about it, right? So they get her ready to go. Now, she's been isolated from everybody because she doesn't have powers, and they don't want anyone to know about that, because then they'll see the wildlings as weak, and then they'll be like, oh, well, that's the kingdom that we have to kill off because she doesn't have any powers. So they're very secretive about it. But her island is dying. There's been a lot of talk about that wildlings used to be able to create like gems out of the palm of their hand, and they used to be this like great like people, and somehow they kind of just like lost all the power of their island. Isla blames herself because she doesn't have powers, and therefore she can't breathe life back into the island. Now, what are her powers supposed to be? It's supposed to be like nature manipulation. It's not really talked about very much. To be honest, she doesn't know very much. She's very much like kept in the dark, isolated, and she's doesn't even have friends, okay? Like, she's just like in her own little bubble. The wildling population wishes her well, and they go, good luck in your endeavor, and we hope that you win these games so that we can live. because if she dies, her entire people will die. Did I mention that? I didn't mention that. Basically, whoever loses this like trial thing, them and their entire thing will die. But it's necessary to break the curse. We will get there. We're gonna get there, okay? The way that this author gives us information, it makes me want to like strangle myself, okay? She steps through the portal, right? Kind of stumbles through it, to be honest, and she's immediately met with Grim. I immediately knew that this was going to be the person that we as the audience, as you know, seeing ourselves in the main character, we're going to be pushed towards. He's a tall guy, he has dark hair, pale skin, and he's from Lightlark, not to be confused with Lightlark. Lightlark, okay? Different, it's different. And his power is confusing. I don't really understand. I don't really understand anything in this book, okay? But I'm trying my best to like to explain it to you. He's a nightling, and he has the power of darkness. What does that mean? It means that he can just kind of like disappear and appear, make things disappear and appear, and like just manipulate shadows, but also like break the universe. It's kind of like Gojo's power, where he kind of just like breaks and like you like go into a different dimension, almost kind of like that, but not like in a different dimension. He just kind of like breaks the universe. Don't ask, dude. I'm trying. That's the first person we meet. He immediately flirts with her, and it's the most like cheesy, awful, gut-wrenching flirting that I'm not even attracted to him. I'm just like, oh my god, please leave us alone. Please leave us alone. The first kind of thing he says is, call me Grim, Isla. And then she's like, have we met before? Because like, how the fuck does he know her name? He goes, if we had, it wouldn't have been just once. Please shut up. Please shut up and like lock yourself in a chest, please. Then she meets Azul, who is the king of Skylark. I almost said Skypea. That's crazy. And like, I know you're like, oh, do all of these names have Lark at the end? No. I don't know why. Why not just stick with that? Azul like sees, because she has like all these diamonds. You know how I said like wildlings used to be able to create diamonds out of their palms? Now they just create them on the island. Like literally they like rise up out of the ground, so they have access to like extreme wealth. That extreme wealth makes men want to come to the island to steal from them, basically like pirates. But because it's like the sea is so perilous and the rocks are so pointy, they just end up crashing into the island, and then the wildlings are like, ooh, a free feast. That's how the wildlings feed, I guess. So she has all these rings on her hand, and Azul, he sees one of them and he goes, ooh, shiny. And then she goes, oh, you want one? And then she just slides it onto his finger and gives it to him. And then there's Cleo. Now, I just kind of imagine Emma Frost, so I'm a little biased towards Cleo Just because of that, just because I imagine Emma Frost. She's like this tall woman with like milky white skin, and then I just went Emma Frost because of course she's like blonde because she's a bitch, right? And like Cleo immediately makes some comment about Isla being a pet, and Isla takes it really personally for some reason because she's like, oh, all people see wildlings as animals. When I think she was just kind of like just seeing her as like some like naive like new ruler because that's what she is. Cleo, Grimm, Azul are all like 500 years old. Okay, they're all hella old. And Isla, brand new. She's brand new. And there's one more brand new ruler, and that is Celeste. And the only reason that Celeste is brand new is because her curse is like the worst out of everyone's. You know how I said everyone has a curse? Her curse is that everyone dies at the age of 25. That is the curse. Now, Cleo's curse is a little better. Cleo's curse is more like the tides, you know, because she's a moonling. The tides like basically want to attack her and kill her. But that's like only like once once a month. Yeah, once a month. It's when the moon is like completely gone, like when it's dark. That's when the tides start going crazy and try to like kill everyone. Things are just kind of getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like every year, like the curse just seems to get worse, and it just seems to like consume them more and more. Grimm's curse is that he can't go out at night. What is Azul's curse? Azul is black. I did not get that at all. What? Hold on, I'm glad I have the book right here. What? I feel embarrassed. I feel like my face is heating up. Like, I missed that. Where was that? Oh my god, I missed it. A pale blue cloak cracked with wind before settling against bare, very dark shoulders and muscled arms. I missed it. One line, I missed it. I don't even think I read his description. I think I kind of skipped that. Oh my god, I can't believe. And she never describes it again. Like, she never... This is a problem that I have with her, is she'll describe someone once and then just never describe them again. So we don't have like a constant... Anyways, I'm just gonna say the fact that he's not like really big in this book and he's only there for maybe like a quarter of it and then he just disappears, that's racist and homophobic. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just say it is. Seriously? Okay, I literally wanted to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong because I thought this is so stupid. This is so stupid that this cannot be his curse, and I have to be remembering it wrong. But I'm not. Azul's curse is that he can't fly anymore. And she's trying to tell me that Cleo's curse is like the least effective? Bitch, she could die from like a stray tidal wave. And this bitch, oh, he just can't fly anymore? It's not my book. It's not my book. Moving on. There's only one more curse to talk about, and that is Oro's curse. But technically at this point, we haven't met him yet, but I'm just going to tell you what it is. His curse is he can't walk in the sun. It's the opposite of the Nightlings. So... woo! Okay, anyways, they're all on the island. Isla gets situated in her room, okay? And she goes out on the balcony to sing. Now, the singing thing only comes up 3 times in the book, and it pisses me off because as someone who can't even sing, I love to sing all the time. And I sing any second that I get. And maybe it's stimming, maybe it's not. Who knows, okay? But the fact is that she can sing. It's something that she's good at, that she's never had to try it. Those are her words, not mine. Those are her words, not mine. That she's never had to try at. This is just something she's naturally good at. And she only does it 3 times during the entire book. So she's sitting out on the balcony and she's singing for a while. She kind of like looks over and she sees Oro and she gets so scared that she falls off of the balcony. Yeah. Literally would have died. Except that his ass saved her. And the reason that he could save her is because he has multiple powers. He has the power of flight, the flight that was taken from Azul. He has the power to heal, which is what the Moonlings have. They have the power to heal with water, like a water bender. He has the power to use sparks to create things, like a starling can. And he has the power of fire, his Lightlark. So he has like multiple different powers. And these powers, I believe, were taken from the other rulers when the curse fell upon them. So Isla wakes up after falling off the balcony and she gets summoned to dinner. So then she's like, you know, I have no time to get ready. I literally almost died and my hair is dripping wet. So she literally just throws this dress on. And of course, it's like the most see-through dress she could possibly choose and goes to dinner. So when she walks into the dining room, everyone's staring at her like she's crazy. And honestly, she probably is. And he says to her, I know our seas are irresistible, but please, in the future, do limit your swims to earlier in the evening as to not keep the rest of us waiting. Very rude, though perhaps my expectations of your realm were too high to begin with. I'm sorry! I'm letting my emotions show. I love Oro. I love him. I hate this entire book, but I love Oro, okay? You know how I mentioned the wildling curse and how she has to eat hearts supposedly to live, except she doesn't have that curse. So he serves her a heart, a bloody heart on a platter, right? And she's like, fuck. God damn it, you know? This heart was actually taken from someone in a prison, which shows how they treat their prisoners. I don't know what that says about their country. It's never mentioned again. Like, these prisons are never mentioned again. So I don't know how their justice system works. But she kind of goes, well, I don't have a choice, takes a bite out of it. And Grimm, of all people, you know, this person that she's described as like death incarnate and has heard all these horrible, horrible rumors about, he steps in and he goes, hey, like, I don't want to see that. Can she eat that somewhere else? And Oral's like, nonsense. She should eat this here. Why would she eat it somewhere else? And then, like, I guess everyone else just kind of gets grosses out. So then they're like, you know what? Like, she can eat that somewhere else, which works out for her because she doesn't live off of hearts and it would have been disgusting for her to finish that shit. Now, a weird side bit that probably, it isn't important, but Isla has a servant girl, a starling servant girl. I don't know why she's starling and not from Lightlark. But a starling servant girl serving her, and the servant girl, it quote, walked towards her slowly, slightly sideways, the way a child might approach a coiled snake. And so because of that, you kind of think, oh, she's like really young. And it's also the way that Isla talks to her, like the way that she lowers herself down to like speak with her, and the way she's like, oh, call me Isla, and like, oh, I'll help you with that. Oh, don't worry. It makes it sound like this girl's really young. She's 24. She's 24. I don't know why it makes her sound like she's just this naive little tiny girl who's like scared of everything when she's obviously like a grown adult woman. She's even described as like a young girl, but then at some point Isla notices that she has a limp in her leg, and so she's kind of like, I'm gonna help you out with this. She asks her, her name is Ella. She asks Ella why she hasn't gone to a moonling to get it healed, and she's like, well, I'm gonna die when I'm 25, so she says something like, I'm almost 25, so there's really no point in healing me and paying for it, and also the moonlings won't even do it just because like it's a waste of their talents. So then I was like, wait, she's a grown woman? Why are we treating her like a child? I thought that was weird, but moving on. So this part is interesting to me. It says, skylings, starlings, and moonlings who had remained on Lightlark had created their own sub-governments. The rulers had become seen as almost gods, figureheads they deferred to and saw only for a few months every 100 years. All rulers traditionally spent their time on the mainland during the Sentinel, but there were occasional exceptions. So skylings, starlings, moonlings, and then obviously like Lightlark, like they all have support systems basically on the island. They all have people that are supporting them, rooting for them, wanting them to win. Our main character and Grimm do not have that. Nightlings are hated because they basically started a war with Lightlark like hundreds of years ago. So they're kind of like seen as evil. So then that's why Isla treats Grimm as though he is evil because of all the rumors she's heard about him. And then everyone sees her as evil because she's a seductress, and then she'll seduct you and then eat out your heart. So the night after the dinner, they all gather in the throne room, and Oro is going to state the rules of the Sentinel. The first rule is a ruler may not assassinate or attempt to assassinate another ruler until after the 50th day. Remember, they're here for 100 days. So after the 50th day, then they can assassinate someone. But before then, they can't. And the reason for this is because the last Sentinel was a fucking mess. Like, everyone was trying to kill each other. It was awful. So they accomplished nothing. So he's like, we're gonna lay some ground rules for this Sentinel. On the 25th day, pairs will be made. And this is important because her and Celeste are actually friends. They pretended that they weren't friends and that they didn't know each other because their plan is to search for something called a bond breaker. And they believe that with the power of this bond breaker, they can bypass this entire curse business, like this whole poem, which I will read to you entirely. And they can save everyone without having to kill one of the rulers and their people, right? That's what we want to avoid. Celeste and Isla want to be paired up so that they can search for this bond breaker together. So their plan is to appear as like horrible and defenseless as possible. Like everyone already assumes that they're going to be the shittiest out of all of them because they haven't been around as long as the other rulers. They're brand new to this. Especially Celeste, because she only lives for 25 years. Their plan is to work together, and so to appear as like naive and dumb as possible, so that at the 25th day they will be paired together. And then, like I said, whoever you're paired up with, you cannot kill them. Like, you can try to kill another team, but you cannot kill your own team. And every trial will have a winner, and whoever has the most collective wins will be choosing the pairings. So the next morning, she decides that she's going to go into town, and she runs into Grim. And so they both kind of go out and eat chocolate together, and everyone's scared of him. And this is like the first time that she's seen someone be more scared of someone else other than her. Like, when she walks around, everyone's kind of staring at her, treating her like a villain. But when she walks with him, like, they hate him more, to the point that they don't even notice her. And like, he does like feed her chocolate. So it's like very clear that the author is like, choose this guy. Choose this guy. No, I refuse. He takes her, because that's where she's going anyway. He takes her to this like I would say seamstress, but it's a guy. So it's a seamster, a guy who makes clothes. He takes her there, and then he kind of like disappears and reappears. So then that's how we find out that he can like do that at will whenever he wants. He can just appear, reappear, but also just be invisible. So he can basically just like stalk her and she wouldn't even know that he's in the room, which is really scary, but okay. He basically tells her, my trial is going to be first. That is the first one that everyone is going to participate in. And it's going to be a physical trial where we don't fight with powers. We fight with our, not fists, our swords. We fight with weapons. We fight with what, I don't know. We just fight each other physically. So when she goes to this seamster guy, all of the clothes that he makes is made of spider silk. We never see the spiders, by the way. Never see them once, but he makes them with spider silk, and apparently they're just like really durable, like armor. So he makes her like a bunch of dresses, but he also makes her like a literal like suit of armor. And while she's there, Grim goes, you should also get a sword. So she gets a sword too. So then she tells her friend Celeste, she's like, oh, I talked to Grim and he said that this is going to be the first trial. And then she's like, you can't trust him. He's a knightling. Why would you like so easily trust? And this is her fucking problem, dude. It's because she trusts so easily, and she just spouts her fucking secrets. She just spouts them. She doesn't even try to keep anything to herself. She doesn't try to strategize or think. She just kind of blurts out whatever the fuck she thinks. Oh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying because she's not good at fighting and she's not good at strategizing. So what is she good at? Absolutely nothing. She skates away on luck alone. But Celeste basically gets on her and is like, you're stupid for believing him. But turns out Grim wasn't lying to her. And so it begins, and we see Grim in this like suit of armor. It's all black, and I'm gonna read it to you. It is the dorkiest thing that I have ever read in a book, and I've read a lot of dorky things. Grim was a fearsome warrior. He wore a helmet of spikes like daggers that shot from the crown of his skull. One dipped between his eyes, shielding his nose. His shoulders had the same sharp metal points that ran down the lengths of his arms, spikes everywhere. He was a demon, death itself. She keeps saying that, but like, he's just a guy in really cheesy black armor, just spikes and a mohawk, okay, down his helmet, and then spikes shooting. Like, is he a punk rocker? What is going on? So of course, like, Grim flirts with her a little bit. He's like, nervous heart eater. Don't call me that, she said quietly. Is that the thanks I get from my help? I guess that's supposed to be like super flirtatious and we're supposed to be fanning ourselves. Anyways, she fights Grim and she wins very easily, by the way. Here's how it goes. Oro fights Azul. Oro wins. Now Cleo fights Celeste. Cleo wins. Isla fights Grim. Isla wins. Now it's down to Oro and Cleo, and Oro wins. Now who's left? Oro and Isla. Now Isla, this is the only time, and this what tricks you. This is what tricks you, because you read this chapter. This is chapter 7, okay? You read this chapter and you think to yourself, wow, like, she really is badass. She really kicked all these men's asses. Like, this is so great. This is the only time this happens. And it's so misleading for the rest of the book, because at every single other instance, she completely just crumbles to the pressure and is unable to save herself. So she basically gets Oro into a corner and is going to beat him, and then she makes eye contact with Celeste. Now remember their plan. Their plan was to go under the radar. So Celeste is like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not doing. She goes, oh, I got too carried away. So then she lets Oro win. So then Oro's kind of confused at her, and he's kind of giving her like a dirty look, because he's like, I know that you let me win. Why the fuck did you do that? That's so weird. Now, after this, Celeste is very upset and she cries, because she's like, I can't be there to protect you all the time. And if you keep doing this, you're going to make yourself a target. Like, you need to listen to me, and you need to, like, not go crazy, and you need to stop talking to Grim. But of course, like, telling her to stop talking to Grim is only gonna, like, push her towards talking to Grim even more. Like I said, her and Celeste are hiding their friendship. Nobody knows that they're friends, because if they know that they're friends, they're not gonna get paired up. When they talk to each other, it's like very sneaky, and they have to make sure that nobody sees them together. So Azul invites them all to dinner. Now we're gonna get to see his trial. So when she walks into the dining room, there's like a bunch of nobles there, and they all immediately start to gawk at her, because, oh, she's the wildling, she's the temptress, right? And then Grim appears right next to her out of literally like thin air, and like people gasp and they're like, oh my god. I'm laughing, but like, this is supposed to be serious, okay? This is serious. Stop laughing. So he says, I'm not sure what I enjoy more, seeing the way you grip a sword or the way your dress grips you. Like, he's so bad at flirting, it makes me want to like punch somebody. She kind of has a good response though. And I don't know what I enjoy more, replaying the image of my sword against your throat, or thinking about how your heart might look on my plate. He goes, careful, heart eater, I might just give it to you. That is the only good line he has out of this entire thing. That one I was like, okay, kind of ate with that one, but like every single other line he has, I would rather die. So this trial is about showing off your powers, letting everyone see what you can do. Azul, like I said, this is his trial. He says, Grim, we haven't had a nightshade on our island for centuries. Would you go first? Grim opened his palm. The room changed. Suddenly there were 100 Grims standing between each chair, all smirking. The ceiling cracked open, the floor split, and large slabs of stone fell right onto their heads. Screams pierced the air. Everything disappeared. The room was back to normal. There was just one Grim, looking bored, as if the display hadn't used even a whisper of his power. That's why I'm like, I feel like his power breaks reality, but like it's all an illusion. Cleo makes the wine freeze into a shark and then punches the shark and it shatters. Woo! And then Celeste makes fireworks. Ah! And then Azul just kind of makes these like thunder clouds and then turns them back into regular clouds. Like, I'm making it sound bad, but it's because it is bad and it's not interesting. And then like our main character goes, I need to think of something. I need to think of something, right? And she decides, you know, instead of showing her powers, she's going to show off her knife skills. So she gets Oro, and I think she blindfolds him, and she tells him to sit in a corner like a good little boy and stand there while she throws daggers at him, right? And he does it. No, he's not the one blindfolded. She's the one blindfolded. I don't know why I said he's the one blindfolded. But she's the one blindfolded, and then she throws the daggers, and of course she does it perfectly. But for some reason in this entire book, no one's like, hey, I've never seen you use your powers. Why? Like, no one's curious how in every single trial she manages to just like get by not using her powers. Yeah, they all could think like, oh, maybe it's strategy. But even Cleo, who is like a bitch, she doesn't even say anything about it or make like a comment about it. I think it's strange. Now, Oro is last, and Oro turns the table to gold. Now, this is shocking because like I said, his power is to use fire. And yeah, he has other powers, but I mean like the Lightlark power is fire. So then you're like, this is so strange. How can he do this? It's just an ability he has. It's just an ability. He can do it, and that's that. He can do it. Period. It says, thousands of years ago, it was said that starlings could make diamonds. Wildlings could make emeralds and rubies grow in their palms like flowers. Sunlings could turn goblets to gold. It represented a complete mastery of power. But it's not. It's just like something he can do, because later on we get that answer. So she's supposed to be kind of like an assassin almost, where like she can hide in the darkness and not make a sound and no one knows that she's there. And she manages to find this man called Juniper, and he's like a barkeep. She thinks that she's being so strategic because he deals in secrets. And she tells him, I could have bested Oro and I didn't. I don't understand how this secret has significance to Juniper enough for him to go, that's good enough. I'll tell you a secret now. But she basically asks, how can she get onto Moon Isle, which is Cleo's isle, and to go into the library. Something that I haven't mentioned is that they think that the bond breaker could be in a library. And why do they think that? I don't know. It's like a bit of information. So they're like, well, it must be in a library. So that means that we have to search every single library. Remember when I said that she wanted to get inside of the clothes shop? The reason that she wanted to get in there is so that she could break back into the clothes shop and steal some of the clothes so that she could sneak onto the aisles, because every aisle has their own colors and their own hair colors, like very distinct. And so she needs like clothing and then be able to dye her hair in order to get onto the islands and search the libraries and find what she's looking for. So she's scared that the tailor is going to find out that his clothes are missing, and then he's going to blame her. He never comes up, by the way. Never comes up again. We never get to find out if he actually did suspect her. So then Celeste is doing her trial now. Her trial is having all of these rulers touch this mirror. And when they touch this mirror, it shows them like their worst fear. People who touch this mirror sometimes will get trapped inside of the mirror just because they can never get over that fear. So Cleo wins this trial. She just gets over her fear right away. And our main character is actually the worst, because she takes like 6 minutes, I think, to get over her fear. Now, her worst fear is not as crazy as you think it is. Her worst fear is like going back to the Wild Isle, a failure, and living the rest of her life trapped inside of her. It's not even a castle. It's just like this little like greenhouse dome that she's like been trapped in her entire life. And the only time that she can actually get outside of that dome is when she's training in the forest, and she doesn't get to interact with anyone because no one can know that she doesn't have powers. The other time that she can leave is with her star stick. I know we've already forgotten about that, but her star stick that allows her to go to different realms, islands, places, I don't fucking know. She gets through the trial. Now that everything is over, now guess what? they have everyone's handprints so that they can get into the secret rooms in the library, right? So it was a trick just so that they could get everyone's handprints. Now, the reason that this is going to work is because there's these gloves that are made out of human skin, and they're not as like popular as you think that they would be to get into places. They're actually pretty rare because you can only really use them with like a specific purpose, like this, I guess. And the gloves are made out of human skin, so they like can fall apart really easily. So now that we have everyone's handprints, the first island that we're going to go to is the Skyling Island. She looks around the library. She's having trouble finding it. She does find like a secret little room, goes in there. The relic's not there. On her way out, she like runs into Cleo, and Cleo immediately is suspicious of this bitch. She's like, I know you're wearing like Skyling clothes, but something is wrong with you. So Cleo begins to follow her, and so, you know, she's like walking faster, trying to get away from this bitch. And I literally just imagine like Emma Frost just stomping all the way and like, fine, I need to look up what Cleo looks like. I have no idea, but I'm imagining Emma Frost. Don't ruin my fantasy for me, okay? And for some reason, Grimm is there. Don't ask me why, but for some reason, he's in the library. And so she basically says, please, like a little bitch, She just goes, please. And then he makes them both disappear, takes them from the library, and basically saves her ass. Because Grimm saved her from Cleo, she doesn't want him to use this against her, become suspicious of her or anything. So she wants to find him and talk to him. But before she can do that, she runs into Azul. And they both go into Sky Isle. They find this like section of clouds that have like holes in them. And I guess like they used to fly in between the holes, and that was like a game that they had. But now it's a musical instrument, so he can basically blow air through the hole and it makes a sound. And so then she starts singing along with the holes. I didn't write it. He reveals to her that while every other kingdom has a monarchy, his kingdom is a democracy. They choose him to be their ruler time and time again. And she was like, well, what if they don't choose you to be their ruler? And he was like, well, then I won't be. And she's like shocked. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe this. He tells Isla, the curses have ruined so much, but one of the worst things that it's done is tear our realms apart. Before, we were very close to unity. Isla knew this from Poppy's history lessons. Poppy is one of Isla's guardians. That's why King Egan was married to another ruler, wasn't it? King Egan, I know there's a lot of like information floating around here. I'm trying to bring it all together for you. King Egan was Oro's older brother. I believe it was his older brother, and he was supposed to be the ruler, but then he was killed like from the curses. King Egan and this woman named Aurora from, I think she was from Star Isle, they were going to get married and unify the realms. Azul sighed. I'm afraid I don't know if I have it in me to attend a sixth sentinel. So you can just kind of tell that he's tired. He's tired of failing. He's tired of his people suffering. You can really sense that from him. And the author will try to make you suspicious of him. And I hate it so much because this bitch really tries to make you think like, oh, you don't know what's happening. Bitch, I know exactly what's happening at all times. I can see through your deception and your lies. So she does manage to run into Grimm like she wanted to, and she, you know, because she owes him one, she tells him, this is what my trial is going to be, so you are prepared. Now this next trial is about what you can do as a ruler for your people. So the first called forward is Azul. He says, our realm has been working on a form of communication that uses wind. Easier communication means more efficiency, streamlined processes, faster invitations to parties. He's just like a party guy. He's a chill guy. He's a chill party guy. And Cleo steps forward and she goes, we have ships. That's it. That's the end of her presentation. She thinks that that's enough. Then we get this idea planted in our head that maybe Cleo is going to use these ships for like a bad reason. Oh, by the way, I was wrong about moonlings being haunted by the dark moon. They're actually haunted by the full moon. So sorry, I got that piece of information wrong. So the starlings come together and they pooled their energy, making it so concentrated that before their eyes, a sword was created in just moments. Now, here's the thing. Like I said before, Oro has Starling power. He can create a sword seconds by himself. But because of the curse, it takes multiple Starlings to get that same effect. So Oro says, we have found additional ways to spread light and heat throughout the island. And he basically found a way to split flames into multiple. Like there's still a mother flame, and if that flame goes out, then all of the flames go out. But he found a way to just split flames. He constantly needs to have the island lit. He constantly needs there to be fires everywhere, constantly burning. And we're kind of like, we don't know why he needs that, but he does. Grim steps up and he goes, I have nothing to offer, and just walks away. And we're all just kind of like, excuse me? You could have tried just like a little bit. Our main character probably has the best, most helpful solution. So you remember how I said that moonlings are very hesitant to heal people unless there's something in it for them. So she has a solution. Basically, she knows plants because she grew up on Wilding Island with a bunch of plants. She can make like an elixir to heal. She asks Oro to make her fire. Then she sticks her hand in the fire. She could like have cut herself and then healed herself in front of everyone. No, she stuck her hand in the fire and let it fucking eat her skin and then put the elixir on, and it healed her in front of everyone. But I was like, this bitch is crazy. What? Grim appears in her room that night, like out of thin air, and she's like, you made a mockery of my trial, like you didn't even try. And he's like, I have no intention of winning the Sentinel, of making friends. And so then she's like, well, why are you here then? And he just kind of evades her question. He says, do you know how Lightlark was created, Heart Eater? Her hands curled into fists. She couldn't help but feel he was evading her. It was formed by Oro's ancestor, the first origin, Horus Ray. That is a lie. The island was created by two people, not just Horus, but also Cronin Malir. Cronin Malir. Cronin Malvir. God, why would you choose such a name? And then he goes, my own ancestor. So now we get a little piece of history. So basically, Lightlark, Nightlark, they both helped create the island. But the island was named Lightlark, which started the war between Lightlark and Nightlark, because Nightlark was like, I want, part of this island. It also belongs to me because I helped create it. And then they ended up in this long war. So Grimm says, I told my father to sign the treaty. We had lost too many people. We were going to lose everything if we didn't agree to peace. As part of the agreement, I was sent to live on Lightlark, a reminder that if the Nightshades slipped up, they could kill my father's only heir. I lived here for 20 years until the curses were cast. So then she asks him, she goes, did you cast the curse? And he's like, no, I did not cast the curse. Now the next trial is Cleo's trial, and it's a test of desire. And so basically it will force you to choose between two things, and you have to choose for the good of your people over yourself. And so it's like this icy maze, and it's kind of like you can choose like two directions to go, and you're literally swimming in like frozen like water as she's like swimming with also a burnt ass arm, because like I said, it healed her, but it only partially healed her, and she's just kind of like putting on a strong front and pretending like she's all the way healed and perfect. Honestly, she kind of fails. She kind of fails this test, to be honest, because by the end of the trial, she admits to herself that she wants more than just to save her people. She also wants love, which is something that she's been like forbidden to have because of her curse and everything. A curse that she doesn't even have, by the way. She's meant to put her people first and to save her people, but for some reason now she's like, I want it all. I want it all, which I'm like, get it together, girl. Like, please get it together. People first, then think about love. Okay, let's something I kind of forgot to mention here was that Oro had like kind of like a poison ivy mark on his arm. and she calls it gristle root. And then she tells him how to like heal that wound. And she's also wondering why this man, this king, was out in the middle of the forest where he could get that kind of thing. And she lodges that in the back of her brain for later. At this point, her arm has been burnt and it's still in the process of healing. And now she's like basically got hypothermia because she's been like swimming in frozen waters. She's like double fucked. And Celeste goes, you know what? Like, you obviously cannot sneak into the Moonling Library. It's the full moon. Like, now this is the only opportunity we have to sneak into the compound. I didn't even explain why they could sneak into the compound during a full moon. They could sneak into the compound during a full moon because everyone has to go inside and hide because the tidal waves are so strong, like rocking against the city, that it will literally like kill you if you were out there. And they are weakest at this time, which doesn't even make sense, but what do I know? So Isla's like, nah, like I have to go. No matter how miserable I am, no matter how fucked up I am, I have to go. And she does. She makes it there. Like I said, she stole clothes. She also has this like plant mixture that she uses to dye her hair, and it only lasts for like a few hours. You're probably like, why can't she use her star stick to just kind of like poof herself in there? And that's because she can only go to a place that she's already been, and she's never been to Moon Isle. And also Cleo right now is not on Moon Isle, so this is just the perfect opportunity for her to get out there, get on that isle, and figure out where this relic is, right? The bond breaker, we're still looking for it, okay? So she gets to the island, she sneaks in. Of course she does a terrible job, so then they catch her, so then she has to run. She runs into the library and locks it behind her so they can't get in. And she's looking around, and beneath her there's like this whole frozen area, and she looks in there, it's not there, uses her star stick, gets out of there. You're like, why wasn't that more complicated? I don't know. I have no idea why this shit is not more complicated. This entire book is, ooh, we know where this is, we go there, it's not there, we give up. Like, what if they had the relic somewhere else? Like, it's just so simplistic to just be like, oh yeah, after 500 years, the relic would be exactly where it was 500 years ago. Like, it's a choice. So now Isla is incredibly paranoid that Cleo knows that she was the one who snuck into the library. She's like, Cleo keeps looking at me. Cleo keeps giving me dirty looks. Cleo, this bitch is just minding her own business. This author is just really trying to make you believe that Cleo's a bad person, and Cleo. And I'm like, girl, like, she hasn't done anything. Like, I'll wait until she does something and then I'll believe it, okay? Like, I'm just so tired of, what's this bitch's name? Alex? I'm so tired of Alex trying to tell me how to think and trying to tell me how to view this shit. I'm so tired of it. So now we come to the last trial, Oro's trial. It's very simple. There's 3 teas. They drink the 3 teas and it spells out their biggest secret. And everyone at the table launches that shit. Obviously, Isla's biggest secret is that she doesn't have powers. And then Celeste's biggest secret is that she's hiding the fact that Isla doesn't have powers. And so now it's left to Oro. And Oro obviously wants to win and choose the teams. Now we're at the 25th day. You remember that? At the 25th day, whoever wins can choose who's teaming up with who. Okay. For a second, Isla thought that Cleo would just tell her secret, but then she didn't, and she fucking slammed that shit on the floor. So Oro tells his secret, and he tells it in the most like dragged out way, where I'm like, bitch, just get it, just fucking say it. He's like, I was like, bitch, say it. Like, you're pissing me off. But he's dying. The reason that there are so many fires everywhere, the reason he has to keep it lit, is because he's dying. And because he's dying, guess what? Dun dun dun. The island is dying. His life force is directly like linked to the island, and so because he is dying, the island is dying, and it's getting colder, and so he's trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it warm, so that's why there's fires everywhere. Now I'm going to read for you the curse. I should have done this before, but I kind of got caught up in everything and I forgot. Here is the poem, The Key to Breaking the Curses. Only joined can the curses be undone. Only after 1 of 6 has won. When the original offense has been committed again and a ruling line has come to an end, only then can history amend. It's the most basic ass thing. You still don't know what it means, but like, it's not that crazy. It's not that elaborate. It's just like with everything else in this book. Only joined can the curses be undone, Oro read. That is why we break into teams to fulfill the prophecy and attempt to solve it. A reminder of the first rule. A ruler is forbidden from assassinating their partner. Now, this original offense, we don't know what that is. The original offense that caused the curses, we don't know what that is yet. And we're not going to know for a very long time. So Isla's kind of like lost in thought, trying to think about what this means and everything, and she hears her name and she goes like kind of like, you know, perks up. Oro goes, Isla. I choose Isla to be my partner. I'll be his partner. Sorry, just like overtook me there. So now we get to see Oro, and Oro is like this very grumpy guy. For someone who's like Lightlark and is a sunling, he's very grumpy and he's always got an attitude, just very serious. And then she always has an attitude. So they're constantly just like giving each other attitude the whole time. They have such good chemistry. Like compared to her and Grimm have nothing. They have no chemistry. All they have is like lust for each other, but her and Oro actually have something. We'll get into it. So he proposes an alliance. He wants to make a deal with her. So he's like, I know something about the curses. You have a power that I need. Let's work together. And she's nervous because she's like, I actually don't have any power and I don't want him to find out. Now he thinks that she's been like suppressing her power, hiding her power from all of them. I don't even know if that's a power that they can do. He never explains. It's never explained, but he obviously needs help with plants. Because remember how he was like out in the forest and then he got gristle root? So he obviously needs some help here, a plant expertise. And he actually tells her, I don't want you to use your powers because creatures on the island hate wildlings because they think that the wildlings abandoned them. So he's like, I don't want you to use your powers because if you use your powers, then they might actually come after you and your life will be in danger. So continue to hide those. And she's like, works for me, bitch. And so they work out a deal. She goes, you know, I'll help you, but I want to save one other kingdom. And of course it's going to be Celeste. It's going to be her bestie. That's what she's thinking about. She's like, you know, if I'm going to make a deal, I'm going to make it for something worthwhile. So then he takes her to like this edge of the island and she can see the storm. So the storm has literally like, I don't even know if I mentioned it, to be honest. But the reason that you can only go on Lightlark for 100 days out of the year is because there's a storm. And so that storm literally covers it for 100 years. And so this storm is literally frozen in time, like right there at the edge of the island, and it's literally crumbling this like cliff. They approach the storm and Oral's like, jump inside. And she's like, no, this is obviously a trick. You wanted to kill me the entire time, when obviously he can't kill her because he already told her that she's his partner. And she's like, I don't trust you. I'm not gonna jump in there. And he's like, I can fly. Like if something happens, I will save you. And she's like, I don't trust you. And he's like, okay, whatever, bitch. And he jumps inside, right? So then she's like, oh, I don't have a choice. She jumps inside and she literally jumps like right into this like thing of water. Now, I don't know why they went there. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I don't know why they went there. The only reason that they went there is so that he could tell her that his theory is that there is a heart of the island. Heart? You remember there's a heart on this fucking book cover? Yeah. That's why this island has a heart, and this heart he believes is the key to saving the island. And I probably shouldn't say this right now because this isn't revealed until later, but he believes that the heart was the offense. Using the heart's power, the heart of the island, that was the first offense, and that's why the island is falling apart. They literally go into the storm just so that he can tell her his theory and then go, so what kind of plants do you think it would be in? Because I think it has to be in a plant because it needs a source of nutrition and something to protect it in, and it has to be in a place where the darkness meets the light, which they don't even know what that means. And then that's it, they just leave. He just flies her out of the storm. I was like, why did we have to go all the way there? Why couldn't we have stayed inside of her room? It's a choice. Now, there's something that he says. She says, how am I supposed to trust you if you haven't even told me what you're looking for? This is before he told her about the heart. He goes, are you gonna divulge what I tell you to Grimm? I was like, what a strange thing to say. He's like, we gotta go. We gotta go because the sun's coming up. I gotta leave. We gotta go. We gotta fly. And she's like, I refuse. I refuse to fly out of here. He goes, trust me, if there was another way to do this without you, I wouldn't be here. He shot up into the air. He must have angled in such a way to go through the hole of the storm, that hadn't been directly above them, but certainly did not stop or slow down. He flew as fast as a shooting star, a strike of lightning in the opposite direction. Viola screamed so loudly in his ear, it was a wonder he didn't simply let her go, especially when her nails dug so deeply into the back of his neck that she was sure that they drew blood. Auril laughed meanly, amused by her fear. She whispered words into his ear that made him frown. It's almost like you want me to drop you. And then when they like land and they're gonna go their separate ways, he says, I'll see you tomorrow, he said, baring his teeth, making it sound like a threat. Oh my god, bitch! Threaten me. Ugh. I love this man. I don't even care. I hate this book, but I love this man. So then she tells Celeste, and she's like, guess what, Celeste? This is how we're gonna get into the Sun Library. I saved your isle by making this deal, and we're gonna find this heart. We're gonna save everyone, but I'm also gonna search his library for the bond breaker, and this is the only way that we're gonna get it. Because if you remember, they searched the Sky Isle, they searched the Moon Isle. Obviously, Celeste has already searched her own isle, couldn't find anything. So this is their last resort. I don't know why Lightlark isn't included. Like, it's never mentioned that they should go to Lightlark or the Night Isle or whatever it's called and see if they can find it there. Never mentioned. Completely just ignored. Maybe they don't have a library. I don't know. Celeste is very... She's not as like eager to believe. She's like, I don't trust him at all. So that's where we're gonna end it for now. This will be part 1, and then I will make the last part, so don't worry. I will get that out as soon as possible for you. Take care of yourself. Come back, please. And I will see you later. Okay? Goodbye.